What have people been telling you? What are the major things that are concerning people, and how do you aim to address those?
When I've been talking to people in the electorate, they are concerned about what has happened to the country. They see the country has gone backwards quite significantly. They're upset. It's not just a matter of expressing it. They're physically, emotionally upset about what politicians have done. Very keen to see a change in government, but at the same time they do have reservations whether the LNP government, which will win the election, have the capability and the desire to change. That is a big issue. With myself, while I'm only a newcomer to joining a political party, and I did that only in May, and that was maybe I share a similar view to what exists in the community, both at a local level but also at a national level. But since I've taken on the job of running for Fisher, it certainly has been an eye-opener, and I see lots of failings in the Australian system. When you have got only 1% of your shipping containers being x-rayed when they come into the country, whereas it was 40%, and that decrease in the x-ray rate is due to cutbacks in customs, that is a big concern, and it makes you question and understand why there are guns coming into the country, drugs are coming into the country, biosecurity is a major issue, the sell-off of Australian land to overseas companies is another issue. When you highlight about fruit and veg and how there's a double standard with Australian produce that's tested for 135 chemicals, and yet imported is only tested for 50. There's double standards across the board. As soon as that's brought to the voters' attention, they are absolutely disgusted. So there needs to be some form of rebalancing, and that's what I'm about. There's many areas I find that perhaps the bureaucracy needs a shake-up. That doesn't necessarily mean to say reduce numbers, but we need people there who have broader knowledge, people with business knowledge, and understand the effect of their decision. Change can only be effected if the electors want change, and that's the issue. At the moment, we've been a country that's been going for 100 years, 112 years, 113 years, and all we do is we just seem to lurch from left to right. One major political party has a turn for 3 years, 6 years, 9 years, and then it's the other party's turn. And really, for this country to go forward, we need to make decisions now to cater for the next 30, 40, 50 years. I am not worried about, if elected, I'm not worried about the next election cycle. I'll make decisions based on what I believe is in the best interest of the country and the electorate. And in 3 years' time, then the voters can make a decision whether I've done a good job or not. If Katter Party is out to achieve the balance of power, so that regardless of whether it be Labor or Liberal in power, they can be a party of review to see that all decisions work in the best interest of the country.
Where do you think these new parties are finding their base?
I believe a part of the leakage has come from the Greens. There's certainly, with the reduction in number in the membership of the Greens by supposedly 150,000, obviously people are leaving the Greens. There is a lot of disgust with the Greens as a result of the last election, where they basically signed over and formed an agreement with Labor. People who vote for a party want to vote for the party, not vote for another party. In relation to, so leakage is coming from there. There is some leakage from the Labor Party and a very minor leakage from the Conservative Party. It's a combination of those. I would have expected Katter to be higher than 4% personally, but a lot of damage has been caused in recent weeks by the LNP engaging in virtually a fear campaign. They did it with Katter. A vote for Katter is a vote for Labor. They did it with Family First. A vote for Family First is a vote for Labor, which is totally false. and the party did take action last Monday, which enabled, which basically forced those ads to be withdrawn. Unfortunately, it's probably a little bit too late to get that message out to everyone so that they could have a closer look at CATA and what CATA can offer, and also what I can offer.
Are there specific things that are on your agenda for the Sunshine Coast?
To try and get some employment going, the Sunshine Coast is too reliant upon two industries, and that's tourism and construction. Very important industries, but we need a broader base. Bob Katter's announcement on the Sunshine Coast last Tuesday was the first step in developing a broader plan for the Sunshine Coast, restarting the sugar industry, committing $60 million to build a new modern sugar mill, which not only would produce sugar, but ethanol/biofuels, and also to feed electricity into the grid. That would enable all the idle cane fields, which virtually have little use. They're low, they're poor country. It revitalises those, it revitalises labour and all associated industries, so machinery sales. There is a number of industries that would feed off of that. That's a first step in getting the Sunshine Coast going again.
Why should people be voting for you?
I believe we need real change on the Sunshine Coast, and in particular with Fisher. The people of Fisher are taken for granted. Expenditure that occurs on the coast is really just expenditure by demand rather than it being driven by an incumbent Member of Parliament. It's very reactive. I can bring change, but for me to bring change, I need the people behind me. I would like to see voters to sit back and, rather than just automatically vote for the one party that they may have always done, like I vote LNP or I vote Labor, to have a look at the candidate, see whether they are serious, see whether perhaps they're just giving you a little bit of spin. Fisher is a blue ribbon seat for the LNP, and basically, and it has a history of that, except for a very short period where Michael Lavache held it. And in effect, if LNP get in again, the candidate, the successful candidate, will be of the view that he will have a position as the elected member for however long he wants it.